Hello, everybody, and welcome to the discussion about what is going to be premiering this month in light novels, the month of September of 2021. Yeah, I know it's kind of weird. I'm doing this as a live stream. Thought I'd try something a little bit different for once. Um, and also I gotta be honest, I've started this new job and man, I am like so tired that the idea of recording, editing, posting, and all that jazz just, oh man, I'm so not up to it. So, we're gonna do this live and all uncut and all that kind of crap. So, there's 14 light novel series making their debut this month. It's pretty crazy compared to most of the recent months where we've had 4, 5. So yeah, 14. And we're getting them from most companies, Yen On, Seven Seas, Cross Infinite World, and also from J Novel Club. So lots to talk about. So let's get on into it. And this is the first time I'm trying this. So, if it completely bombs, well, I guess pardon me for letting that happen. So first up, we'll start with something that came out today, and that is going to be the title. And once I get over there, My Daughter Left the Nest and Returned an S-Rank Adventurer. This one's from J Novel Club. The life of an adventurer isn't always a glamorous one. Belgrieve finds this out the hard way when a deadly encounter robs him of his leg and the ability to pursue his dreams, not long after setting off for fame and fortune. But fate isn't finished with this retired adventurer. While gathering herbs in the wilderness, he discovers an abandoned baby girl and names her Angeline after deciding to raise her as his own. Angeline grows up to become a top-tier adventurer in her own right, yet after venturing out into the world and making a name for herself, fame, fortune, and power hold no allure from the accomplished S-rank adventurer. Her heartfelt wish is for nothing more than to see her father again. Now, J Novel Club did kind of say that this one will not go the creepy route, which I'm kind of happy to hear, honestly, because man, I think we've had more than enough of those already. So, so the next title that's going to be coming up, and that's going to be on September 9th, and that is going to be I'm the Evil Lord of an Intergalactic Empire. This one is, funny enough, written by the same author as The World of Otome Games is Tough for Mobs. This one is coming out from Seven Seas. It's a digital advance release. The print edition is currently set to come out in November. Turn to the dark side. Maybe? In his last life, Liam lived as a moral, responsible person, but died deep in debt and betrayed by his wife. Reborn into the ruling family of a vast interstellar empire, Liam knows that life is divided between the downtrodden and the ones who do the stomping. So this time, he's going to take what he wants and live for himself. But somehow, things refuse to work out that way. Despite doing his best to become a tyrant, Liam's decisions lead to nothing but peace and prosperity for the empire under his rule, and he just gets more and more popular. I kind of like the idea of the whole I'm trying to be evil, but I just end up doing good for everybody. Just based on some of the images I've seen from this one. Looks like the author is staying in touch with their mecha fandom, which I thought was really strange that there were mecha in the Otome game, but what the heck. It all works out. All right, so the next one that we have coming out also on September 9th, and again, this one is from Seven Seas as well, and that one is going to be a tale of the Secret Saint. This one, again, it is a digital advance release from Seven Seas. The story of a young woman's quest to become a knight while hiding her saintly power. And of course, Seven Seas also licensed the manga of this one as well. Born into a long line of knights, Fia is determined to become a knight herself, just like all her siblings. But a brush with death awakens memories of her past life as a saint, a woman who wields rare, powerful healing and protection magic, along with the ability to use that magic herself. The downside is that Fia also remembers her past life's untimely death and the danger she will be in if anyone finds out what she really is. She vows to stay on her knighthood path and keep her powers a secret forever. But how can she resist using her newfound powers when they're just so useful? So it's like one of those, not an isekai, but again, I'm not sure whether it's that she starts off in this world, like in the past of the same world that she's living in, or whether it's like she's from an alternate fantasy world. I don't know how that one works. I guess if you're interested, you'll just have to see. All right, and then coming out on September 10th, this one is going to be coming from J-Novel Club, and that is Chillin' in Another World with level 2 super cheat powers. Again, this is from J-Novel Club. It's going to be the magical kingdom of Clyroid summons hundreds of heroes from other worlds every year to fight in their war against the Dark One and his army of powerful demons. Banaza is one of those heroes, summoned from the royal capital, Paluma, but something's not right. Banaza is only an average merchant. He has no magic, no fighting ability, and his stats are abysmal. Worse, a mishap leaves him unable to return home. Rejected as a hero and stranded in another world, abandoned to the far reaches of the kingdom by a cruel king who just wants him gone, Banaza's fate looks pretty bleak. But what will happen once the failed hero candidate finds himself with super cheat powers once he hits level 2? So yeah, it's a OP main character. I think it's just like a one girl only type story though. Like I don't think it's exactly a harem. So there is that. Kind of an interesting little, like, it is an isekai because he's not from the world that the story takes place in, and yet he's actually from another world that has magic. Like he's not from our world. I don't know if that's going to make much of a difference or if it's just going to feel like just another isekai. I don't know. Then coming up on September 13th, this one's coming to us also from J-Novel Club, and that is Dragon Daddy Diaries, A Girl Grows to Greatness. Now, this one's also written by the author of Sexiled, so if you're familiar with that title, you have some idea of what this is all about. Daddy! The dragon blinked as the wee little human called out to him. Him? Her daddy? Powerful enough to have been venerated by humankind, yet warm-hearted and even a tad ditzy, the dragon soon finds himself raising and doting on the precocious Olivia as if she really were his daughter in this touching tale. The toddler may be impossibly cute now, but just you wait. She's a curious child, and she's growing up real fast. You can bet that one day she'll be the strongest human there is. But first, how will he handle little Olivia receiving an acceptance letter to a human school? I think this one, and when I looked it up when it was licensed, has like 3 volumes. It definitely has a couple, so this author also wrote A Lily Blooms in Another World, which was a one-off. Sexiled only had 2 volumes, so I think this one's a little bit of a longer series for that author. And then coming up on September 14th, we get a couple of titles from Yen On. The first one is going to be If the RPG World Had Social Media. I gotta be honest with you, this one's, yeah. BRB, going on a quest for love. In a fantasy world where smartphones and the internet exist, the hero has become a total shut-in, refusing to socialize with anyone. However, his world gets a little larger when he meets the Demon Lord online. The two hit it off, and the hero decides he wants to meet her in person. The outside world is a dangerous place, though, and the shy young man only has one hit point. This story is an adventure romance for the digital age, told almost entirely through chat logs. And that's legit. When I was looking at this title, I looked at the Japanese book of this one, and the preview, I would probably say 80% of it is just laid out like chat bubbles throughout the whole book. I don't know how it works as a story, obviously, but yeah, I thought that was really strange because I'm used to some light novels will do that for a page or two, but I was like almost a whole novel that way. Kind of strange. Anyway, it's only a one-off as far as I know. I believe there's just the single volume for that one. And then also on September 14th from Yen on, we are supposed to be getting Bond and Book, The Devotion of the Surgery Room. Now, this one, if you're familiar with one of the older light novels that Yen On has released, Book Girl. This is the same author and the same artist. So if you dug that series, and this one has a heavy, bend on books and book loving, so kind of up that alley. A book's love for its reader is boundless. Musubu Inoki is an ordinary high schooler with an extraordinary ability. He can hear the voices of books. When he happens to notice one lost and crying, the young man sets out to reunite a children's classic with its original owner. Musubu leaves no page unturned in his quest to assist tomes of all sorts, including The Surgery Room by classic Japanese author Kuyoka Izumi. But can this advocate for books really make their dreams come true? Find out in this biblio mystery you won't want to put down. So this sounds really interesting to me, a very different sort of take on things, but I do like the idea that there's perhaps some mystery element to it. Obviously, if you've read Book Girl, you know that I've only read the first volume so far, but I understand it's pretty much the same, that each volume kind of focuses on a particular Japanese author and a particular one of their works, and that it kind of informs things that happen within the book. So if you're kind of into Japanese literature, I'm thinking this could be kind of cool. And honestly, Book Girl was really well written. This might be one just to check out in general. What seems kind of interesting, though, is it looks like Yen is releasing this one as a hardcover release. I don't know. It looks like, the fact that Book Girl was one of their first main series that they carried. Maybe they're just deciding to give this author the grand treatment. But I'm kind of looking forward to checking this one out. And then on September 14th, the third title that we're getting from Yen On is going to be Magistellus Bad Trip. This one's written by the same author of A Certain Magical Index. So if you're a big fan of that series, you can check it out. Play your cards right, and you might just win. A high school student with millions of in-game earnings, Konami Suo is one of the strongest dealers in money, Game Master, a virtual world where nothing is against the rules. Assisted by his succubus AI partner, Selika, he seeks the Overtrick, a set of powerful cheat-level weapons that break the laws of physics, and one young girl. What does it take to save somebody in a VR city with gunfights, car chases, and high-stakes stock market gambling? What exactly is in the cards for Konami and his associates? So, yeah, it sounds like a real kitchen sink of a series. We got VR, we got car chases, gunfights, we got gambling, there's a lot going on. Seems like a lot of stuff happening. So then the next one up, September 16th, this one is another one of those 7 Seas digital pre-releases, and that is going to be Planet of the Orcs. This one, Orcs versus humans, guns versus magic. He was 15 when he first became a hero, blasted to another world by an unknown entity. At the end of his harsh and hapless journey, the hero defeated the Demon King. Over the next 10 years, he was sent off to different worlds, and every time he saved them. Now, on his 13th world, the enemy is the Orc race, whose highly advanced civilization has forced humanity into a desperate struggle for survival. What's more, the Orcs seem to have banded under a cunning leader. Has our hero finally met his match? Now, this is from that Legends series of books. What was it? Like Kobold King was one of those. What was that? Isekai Repair. The one, I can't even remember the title. The one that was about like a group that tries to fix worlds after they've been basically destroyed by people being isekai, that kind of stuff. This one, the paperback's supposed to be out in October for this one. Also on September 16th, we have The Most Notorious Talker Runs the World's Greatest Clan. Again, this is a 7 Seas title, digital pre-release, paperback coming out at the end of October. All talk, all action. Noel longs to be a seeker like his heroic grandfather, slaying the beasts that emerge from abysses and exploring far-off lands. Unfortunately, it turns out he's nothing but a measly talker, a job with no combat skills whatsoever. Undaunted, Noel sets out to establish the strongest clan in all the land, using his silver-tongued talker skills to unite assassins and heroes under his leadership. This one, I don't know. I mean, he can talk a good game. I'm kind of curious to see just how well the author can pull off the whole, like, talking thing, like the charisma, to see if it actually works. And I didn't even advance to the image. Sorry about that. The hazards of doing this stuff live, man. Mistakes happen and you can't fix it. But whatever, it's fine. So like I said, this one is supposed to be coming out in print at the end of October. All right, now we skip on over to September 27th. So we have a wee bit of a lag there. So that one, it's going to be coming out from J Novel Club, and that's going to be The Reincarnated Princess Spends Another Day Skipping Story Routes. This one is about, after an accident, a modern careerist is reborn as Princess Rosemary von Velfalt. She soon realizes that her new life is identical to that of a rival character in a Otome game that she'd once played to 100% completion. Luxury and magic abound in the kingdom of Neville, alongside a collection of attractive men. However, beneath the suitors' dazzling faces lie awful personalities, masochists, necrophiles, and perverts. Oh my! But it's not all bad news. The side characters are perfect, and Rosemary has fallen for the captain of the Royal Guard. Since the game offers no true route to happiness, Rosemary decides to forge her own path. To avoid marriage with the suitors, she'll have to skip their story routes and fix their deviance. She'll navigate palace and marriage politics, kidnappings, and the threat of war, all while contending with a world that's drifting further from the game she remembers. 100% game completion isn't all it's cracked up to be. Sometimes 0% is the route to a dream life. I kind of dig, the whole Otome villainous type light novel thing. I mean, I know it's getting, the market's getting a little inundated with them. But, this one sounds pretty interesting and kind of dark, honestly. I won't get into some details, but when we talked about this on the podcast a while back when it was licensed, yeah, there's some dark stuff that goes on in that book, and whoo boy, I think you're going to find it a bit of a different take on the whole villainous type thing. All right, so also on September 27th, we're getting another one from J Novel Club. Actually, we're getting two more from J Novel Club on that date. The first one is Min-Maxing My TRPG Build in Another World. So this one obviously is going to be another isekai title, but apparently is focusing fairly heavily on tabletop RPG gaming as opposed to the usual video game RPG. Commissioned in death to save a world in peril, a tabletop RPG fanatic is reborn as a humble farm boy with the rule book for the universe at his fingertips. Young Eric's quest for an invincible character build will require more than his decades as a number-crunching munchkin, though. Even with power-leveled skills, feudal life is no cakewalk, especially when you can keep drawing more attention than you can handle. Can Eric adapt to his strange new world before his worst impulses take the campaign of a lifetime completely off the rails? Let the dice fall where they may. So, yeah, I mean, this one, from what a few people had said when they started reading the previews on J-Novel Club, it sounds like it really does focus much more heavily on that TRPG and how people can build things, like when they're saying like min-maxing and everything else. Like, I think somebody was actually saying that there's actual like glossaries as you go through like reading the book that give you like terms and stuff for TRPGs. So, I mean, if you're into them, this might be one to check out. All right, and then finally on September 27th from J-Novel Club, we get one more title. This one a more shoujo type title, and that's going to be Dahlia in Bloom, Crafting a Fresh Start with Magical Tools. This one is after dying of overwork in Japan, as you know, not with her. Vows to be her own woman from now on and devote herself to her craft, even if it's not quite the quiet life she was hoping for. From a chance encounter with a knight to starting her own company, there are challenges aplenty on the horizon, but this young craftswoman is no longer a shrinking violet. She's Dahlia, and she's ready to bloom. So yes, of course, as I said, an overworked Japanese career woman passing away, being reborn in another world. But I kind of am hoping that this one will be cool in terms of having like a really strong female main character. I kind of like the idea she's starting her own company and, you know, like she's just like starting out on her own and doing her own thing. I think that's cool. Like I like to see, you know, strong female characters like that. But I'm sure there's also probably a touch of romance, maybe with that broody knight that's in the red armor and behind her. I guess we'll see. And then finally, the 14th title. Wow. I tried to blow through these things pretty fast. The last title that's coming out in September is coming out on September 30th. This one is coming out from Cross Infinite World, and it's got a ridiculously long title. Return from Death. I kicked the bucket, and now I'm back at square one with a boyfriend who doesn't remember me. This one's actually written by the author of Hello, I'm a Witch, and my crush has asked me to make a love potion. So if you read that series, you probably have at least some idea of what to expect with this one. Magic school is a lot harder when you're trying not to die. Life seemed perfect for Oriana after she started dating Vincent in the winter of her 5th year at the academy. Little did she know her beloved would soon die under suspicious circumstances. Before she can process anything, she wakes up to find herself back in her 7-year-old body with no idea how she died. When she finally returns to the Magic Academy in hopes of reuniting with her boyfriend, she finds out Vincent has no memory of her. Now she's back at square one. Can Oriana navigate this second chance at life and change the course of Vincent's fate? Making her crush work out really is a matter of life and death. So another sort of shoujo type title from Cross Infinite World, but obviously seems to have that little bit of a, you know, I kind of find it interesting that obviously she's died, but it doesn't seem to really, like, I'm not sure if she knows how she died. So it's kind of interesting to me that, like, it could be kind of cool that she doesn't really know what's going on. So this one might be one to check out, honestly. All right, that's 14 titles. 14 titles for that month of September. So we'll move those out of the way. So what do you guys think? Which ones are you looking forward to? Obviously there's a whack ton of light novels coming out that are ongoing series. I'm trying my best to keep up with those things over on EnglishLightNovels.com. So if you click on the link in the description down below, you can check out all of the titles that are going to be releasing in the month of September. Like I said, wow, like really, really heavy sort of like brand new release type stuff. Yeah, I mean, wow. Pardon me for a moment. I'm going to duck off the camera for a second. Whoop. Hazards of live video, kids. When your nose starts to run on you, there's not much you can do but just kind of duck off a camera or, really gross out your audience, one or the other. In any case, I'll just check in on the chat. I know not a lot of people are in there, which is fine. I know this was rather unannounced, but to be really honest, I've been just, like I said at the very beginning, absolutely beat with my new job, coming home exhausted. And I'm like, well, I could see myself sitting in front of a camera doing something, but I can't see myself then finding time to edit and everything else. So I'm kind of thinking like we might just do some live stream stuff on a more regular basis. Like I might do the top 10 in Japan this way now that I've kind of figured out how I can, overlay covers and stuff like that. So, yeah, let me know what you think. If you're watching this after the fact, you can let me know in the comments down below what you think of this one. Just really quick, which volume did you stop ReZero and Mushoku Tensei? ReZero I read up until the 7th or 8th? 7th. I read up to the 7th volume of ReZero. I only read one volume of Mushoku Tensei. Yeah, Kirby, I know you read like some of that TRPG one, and I remember you and like Jean-Luc and Mirage talking about it and talking about the idea that you thought it might be, some people had said they thought it pandered a bit to the TRPG audience, but I mean, it sounded like Mirage, who's a TRPG guy, didn't feel that way, so I think that's pretty cool. All right, yep, Dragon Daddy Diaries is cute. All right, cool. And you're liking Dahlia and Bloom. Excellent. Good to hear. Yeah, I mean, Dragon Daddy looks super cute. I don't, obviously it's not going to go gross either, which I'm happy to think about. Have you heard that they're made, audiobook, you mean audiobook, obviously, for Overlord. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, Yenon's putting out a couple of different volumes of theirs in audiobook format. So far, I have checked out Solo Leveling. Really should try and shoot sort of a review of that, or, just sit here and talk about it for a few minutes. But I would have to figure out a way of being able to play some clips so that what I'm saying makes sense. I wouldn't include anything that was spoiler, obviously, but it was not bad. I do kind of wish that they could have maybe invested in some sound effects rather than just having the narrator read the sound effects. It kind of took me out of things a little bit, but overall, it wasn't too bad, honestly. It was all right. Yeah. Oh, thank you very much about the new job. Yes, absolutely. It's so I did the same job for over 15 years, and now finding myself in something new after that long, man, I am like exhausted. It's like your brain, because you're asking your brain to do something so different, it just is like baked by the end of the day. It's yeah, wow, kind of crazy, honestly. All right, so speaking of new job, it requires me to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning, so I am gonna keep this one a little bit shorter and not hang out quite as long. So I really do appreciate you people that popped in, and like I said, hopefully in the future I will make these a little bit more announced in advance so that people actually know that it's happening. Oh, it says YouTube's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming, so I apologize. It's probably all choppy all of a sudden, but oh well. No, Tsukimichi Moonlight Fantasy has not been licensed yet, as far as I know. However, you never know what's going to happen because, I mean, now we've got like Kadokawa in the ring. We've got J Novel Club's actually announcing some licenses this Friday, 13th. When's the 13th, guys? I don't even know when the 13th is. No, next Monday. I think it's the 13th they're announcing. So, yeah, you might see that stuff like that comes along. So anyway, again, thank you all for dropping by and checking out the video. And yeah, just continue to let me know what you think in the comments down below. In the meantime, you guys all have a great night, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye for now.